Tommy Fury, trash!
Criticize you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Gervonta Davis was reportedly laughing while reacting to Jake Paul's knockout loss to Anthony Joshua. Tank mocked Jake's punching style, joking about the wide swings and awkward movement he showed against an elite heavyweight. His reaction highlighted the clear skill gap and why stepping in with someone like AJ was always a huge risk. Ryan Garcia reacted to the Anthony Joshua vs. Jake Paul fight on X. He said, "I think Gervonta would have done him worse," suggesting Davis's skill and power would be an even tougher challenge. His comment underlined the gap between the fighters. At the same time, the boxing world was buzzing with offering drama. Analyst Fannin claimed there is a real chance Gervonta Davis could file a defamation lawsuit against Jake Paul. This comes from Paul allegedly accusing Davis of mistreating a girl. Fannin insists the claim is completely false and says the situation could turn into a legal battle.
And real possibility of Gervonta Davis filing a lawsuit against Jake Paul for defamation. A very, very real and possible thing. Jake Paul could be responsible for defamation against Gervonta Davis. I absolutely believe that to be the case. That's because Jake Paul said that he saw a videotape where Gervonta Davis punched a girl in her face. There's no testimony by anybody at all that Gervonta Davis did that. The girl herself is not accusing him of that. The videotape that somebody in the media said that they saw, a journalist said that they were given a copy to her, they were shown a copy of, didn't say it showed anything about Gervonta Davis punching the girl or hitting the girl. It was just that the person categorized it as it looking as if Gervonta was forcing her to leave the club. So basically, she was walking.
Many people from boxing and social media reacted strongly to Jake Paul's fight with Anthony Joshua. Some showed shock, while others showed respect. Chris Eubank Jr. posted on X that regardless of the result, Jake Paul stepped into the ring with an Olympic gold medalist and former heavyweight champion and fought until the end. He said Paul deserves respect for trying and never giving up, adding humor. KSI shared a post on X joking about waking up to see Jake Paul getting knocked out and laughing at the result.
Don't mind me, just smoking on that Jake Paul pack. Honestly, Jake Paul, trash. Tommy Fury, trash.
Chris Mannix summed up his reaction by simply saying, "This is horrifying." Still, Jake Paul earned respect from some legendary fighters. Former world champion Antonio Tarver commented on YouTube that Paul performed better than many expected. Tarver pointed out that Paul lasted 6 rounds and didn't make it an easy fight for Joshua. He said many fighters would have been knocked out much earlier.
Antonio Tarver after another big fight. Jake Paul stopped by Anthony Joshua tonight. What did you make of it?
I expected it. AJ looked like he was putting that pressure on, but credit to Jake Paul. He didn't make it easy, bro. He wasn't no sitting duck. You know, he got on his footwork, used his ring, was moving a lot, and he landed some shots. So hats off to Jake Paul, but he was in there surviving, and he didn't make it easy for AJ, but AJ landed that right hand. I knew it was over after that.
Why did it take so long, do you think?
Oh, Jake Paul wasn't a sitting duck. You know, he was putting his mind to the game, but just didn't have enough in his bag. He just, like I said, he got to get those lessons and evolve more as a fighter, you know.
You want to see him continue?
Yeah, he's going to continue, of course. Just got to pick him right, bro, and give yourself a chance, you know what I mean? I think he was just biting off a little bit more than he could chew tonight. You know, his aspirations was a little bit far out.
I think AJ could have got it done a bit quicker.
I mean, I think he was in there to do it, but like I say, Jake didn't make it easy, bro. It's hard to hit somebody when they moving, especially the way he was moving lateral, just, you know, circling. So he had to catch up with him. He hit him with a couple.
Veteran boxing voice Larry Merchant, an International Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, gave a sharp take on X. He said Anthony Joshua should feel ashamed, claiming the fight hurt AJ's legacy. Merchant praised Jake Paul as a smart businessman while questioning Joshua's commitment to boxing. His comments sparked debate online. Medical experts also weighed in. Dr. Brian Sutter explained the risks of Jake Paul's fractured jaw, including long-term pain, eating problems, and possible complications if not treated properly. He warned that repeated injuries like this could affect Paul's future career, reminding fans that boxing injuries are serious.
The fight pretty boring in the first half before AJ finally turned it on and we got the outcome that we all expected. After the fight, though, Jake told Ariel Helwani that he was worried that he had broke his jaw. He said multiple times he was concerned that he had a fractured jaw. And certainly looking at this knockout punch that Anthony Joshua delivers, it is absolutely a possibility that Jake does in fact have a jaw fracture. I'd honestly be more concerned about a concussion. In fact, with most jaw fractures, the more important thing initially is to look for other injuries to the head, to the neck, to the airway. The jaw fracture potentially being there or not is going to be lower on the list often than whether there's damage to the airway, damage to the head. And so very possible to have a concussion or some residual symptoms from this, as Jake Paul's head is relatively still here. We see AJ comes in with that right, and that sudden, quick, violent rotation of the head is going to transmit a lot of rotational force, not only through the brain, but also through the brainstem, absolutely leading to possibility of a concussion. Thankfully, it didn't completely knock him out, but could absolutely result in some delayed symptoms. But you can see where the punch comes in, landing square on that left side of Paul's face. Jake's reaction was pretty telling too. Right away after it, we could see him going down on the canvas here and being very shocked. It doesn't look like there's any obvious deformity to the jaw. We won't necessarily always see a deformity to the jaw, but you could tell he clearly had realized that something serious had happened there and feeling the full power of AJ's right. And finally, on this last view, we can see a little bit better the exact location where the punch comes in. We'll talk about our jaw anatomy, the different areas of the bones, but your temporomandibular joint, where your jaw...
Nakisa Bidarian shared an emotional response after the fight. Paul after the brutal knockout loss. According to Nakisa, Jake gave his best performance under extreme pressure while facing one of the most elite heavyweights in boxing history. Her reaction reflected how many fans felt.
I'm just happy he's safe. I've always been proud of him. I speak constantly from the rooftops to mountaintops with my car when I'm moving in the street. Respect Jake Paul. That was the #1 trending thing on Twitter about an hour ago. Respect to Jake Paul. So I'm just thrilled.
With how it went tonight, obviously you guys came in here and you actually did, like, deluded or not what people will say, people believe that Jake Paul could do something crazy tonight. Did you truly believe from the beginning that he might pull it off?
So he 100% believed unequivocally that he was going to win. And I talked about that with him, afterwards when he was getting showered up. He knew it was high risk, high reward. He had to land something big, but he felt like he could. My view was it was going to be very hard, but it could happen, right? And there was moments in that fight where I was like, holy shit, this kid's getting him a little bit. So, when I spoke about no matter what happens, he won.
Boxing commentator Wade Plemons was very direct about Anthony Joshua's performance. In a video reaction, he said AJ deserves criticism. Plemons argued Joshua didn't look as sharp as expected, even after training at Usyk's camp. He pointed to flat footwork and missed sharpness, saying a win alone doesn't always meet elite expectations. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.